Hello, my name is Abby Pinot, and I'm an upcoming junior studying environmental engineering. Just a side note, I hope to eventually apply my degree towards marine conservation. Um, okay, so I'm going to answer a few questions about the South Africa Botswana study abroad. I chose the study abroad for one thing just because I hope to work with marine conservation later. It's not exactly the same ecosystem, but I felt like a wildlife conservation course would help with that. Um, Another thing I always thought it would be amazing to go to Africa, and I never thought I would be able to go, so I don't know, the fact that that opportunity presented itself was just amazing, and I thought I'd be crazy to pass it up. But I think the main reason I chose this trip was because ever since I can remember, I've just had a real passion for just wildlife and the environment, and I don't know, I've just always done stuff like, I don't know, trying to help the environment, from just asking my mom to start recycling when I was 6 years old to always being the kid who would pick up spiders in the classroom to take them outside instead of killing them. And I think I just kind of realized that was a passion that I hadn't really been exercising lately, and so that when I read the description for this course, it just sounded like it was right up my alley, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity to kind of reawaken that part of myself. Um, so the trip definitely changed my perception about international wildlife conservation and management. Honestly, I'm not sure if I really understood what that entailed beforehand. And I think one of the most important things that stuck with me that I learned through the trip is that you can't only focus on the wildlife and the environment in order for conservation to be effective. Because the idea of conservation, I think I realized, is almost like a first world luxury. People who are poorer and starving, for example, maybe they think conservation is important, but it's not as important as their survival. So you have to. I feel like I learned that you really need to educate and help out the communities around those environments in order for conservation to be effective. Okay, and now I will give you my definition of progress, conservation, and sustainability, or kind of the definition I made over the course of the trip. Progress, I feel like, it can be kind of a subjective term. Overall, I guess most people just think, it's getting better, which I do too. And one thing I think that maybe I could see some people having in their mind, and I think maybe I did before, was progress is kind of out with the old and in with the new. I think that's true in some instances, but a lot of times the old, honestly, might even be better. Like the environment, for example, it's definitely not as good as it used to be. So I think kind of broadly, I feel like progress is just the idea of approaching what is ideal. An ideal, I would say, is probably just using the resources you have around you just for bettering the quality of life for people, animals, the environment, and just the planet itself. So yeah. And then conservation definitely ties into progress. Conservation, I'd say, is just the idea of protecting, preserving, what was the other word? And just retaining, as much of the available resources, just wildlife. It just really, yeah, I'm really good at speaking. Protecting, preserving, retaining in general. Oh my god, I can watch myself blushing. and usually it goes for things like resources and wildlife, and just things that are either being exploited or are in danger of being exploited. That's what I think it is anyway. And sustainability is, in my book, just effectively utilizing the resources around you, and just using them in a way that they can be fully replenished. Whether it's they replenish themselves on their own or there's like a little bit of intervention, I guess, that helps them be replenished. Okay, this is really long. But, okay, and the question of whether or not, I guess all of these things are really practical and if they can actually be put into practice. Yes. I think it's definitely difficult to really be able to practice true sustainability and conservation just with the way our world is today, because we are just honestly fighting for space and resources, and I guess the environment and wildlife a lot of times can't compete with the human needs. However, there are wise ways, I think, for humans and wildlife and the natural environment to coexist on the planet. Like I said, education, I think, is a really big thing. If you educate some of the poor communities, and not even poor communities, just everyone, because I think a lot of people just don't realize the negative impact that they have, and educate people on the importance of these resources and why we need the natural environment and wildlife to be around, then I think it's definitely possible for everyone to come together to try to conserve what we have left and hopefully maybe one day replenish some of the natural world that has been lost. So yeah, I think I answered all of the questions, and my video is kind of long, and I'm really bad at speaking on videos and I hate them, but thank you for watching.